I join you today with a heavy heart on behalf of the San Angelo Police Department and the citizens of San Angelo. I want to extend my deepest sympathies to the family and loved ones of Naya, and our prayers are with those affected by this unspeakable tragedy. This morning at 2:31 a.m., the San Angelo Police Dispatch received a call in reference to a disturbance at a residence in the 2700 block of Houston Street. Upon arrival, our officers located 3 victims of an assault, to include 62-year-old Jesusita Bermia, 33-year-old Tanya Bermia, and 5-year-old Naya Bermia. The suspect was also on scene and has been identified as 23-year-old Isidro Miguel De La Cruz Jr. of San Angelo. The adult female victims were assaulted by De La Cruz at the residence, and both were transported to Shannon Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries. 5-year-old Naya received a knife wound to her neck during the assault and was transported to Shannon, where she succumbed to her injuries a short time later. De La Cruz was taken into custody at the scene and transported to Tom Green County Jail, where he's currently being held on a murder charge. What we know and are able to release at this time is De La Cruz forced entry into Tanya's residence on Houston Street through a bathroom window. And once he entered the residence, Tanya Bermia left the residence to seek help from family members at 2 separate locations. And upon returning to her residence, Tanya and her mother were assaulted by De La Cruz. Jesusita placed a disturbance call to dispatch at 2:31 a.m. and officers arrived at 2:37 a.m. And upon arrival, officers immediately began to administer first aid to Naya. Our suspect, Isidro De La Cruz, and Tanya Bermia had previously, and I want to say that had previously been in a relationship. They are not related, and De La Cruz and Naya were not related. Our department is actively involved in the investigative process. Our investigators are working right now to determine a motive and an exact sequence of events involving the assaults. We're less than 24 hours into this investigation. There's still a lot of details to confirm. This investigation is our first priority and be given our full attention and resources until its conclusion. One final note, the SAISD is addressing the loss of Naya by sending a letter home with all the students from Alta Loma. SAISD is also offering counseling to anyone at the school in need. And Mr. De La Cruz is currently being held right now on $1 million bond. And so I'll take a few questions now.
Can you repeat all 3 names? 62-year-old?
Yes. Jesusita Bermia, Tanya Bermia, and Naya. And Naya is spelled Naiya.
So did they leave the girl when they went to go get help? Did they leave the girl at the house?
The mother that was in the residence at the time when the forced entry was coming in, yes, left the daughter there and left the residence seeking help. I believe her mother lives very nearby.
And it was just a knife that was used?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Joe Hyde with San Angelo Live. The officer who arrived initially at, you said 2:31 a.m.?
That's when the call came in, 2:37.
He seemed to be, anyone dealing with that seemed to be he seemed to be shaken by what he saw. What does the police department do when officers have to deal with tragedies like this?
In this particular event, immediately at the scene for the family, we contacted Crisis Intervention Unit. They arrived there. For our officers, we'll plan probably having a debriefing tomorrow for the investigators, the officers that arrived at the scene, as well as our crime scene technicians. After that, then we have an on-staff psychologist that will provide assistance to the officers that need it. I do know that several of the employees of this organization were traumatized by what they witnessed, and it is very difficult. Anytime you have a child die and we respond to that call, it's very, very difficult, but to have one die in this manner is very, very difficult.
And was the initial responding officer, was he the primary EMS, basically? I mean, did he
Yes.
have administer first aid?
When the officer first arrived, there were still a lot of unknowns. As he approached the residence and saw what was going on inside, he immediately made sure there was not any other suspects in the house, and then he and another officer administered first aid to Naya.
And you mentioned she was in school. Do you know which school she was enrolled in?
Alta Loma.
Okay.
Kindergarten?
I would assume kindergarten. I don't know for sure, but since she was 5, I was thinking probably kindergarten.
How old was the mother?
The mother is 60. The mother of Naya.
The mother of nine.
The mother of Naya is 33 years old.
Did she,
Go ahead.
sorry, did she have any other children?
There were, not that I'm aware of, there were none present in the home.
Okay. And, you said he was being held on murder. I know you're still in the investigation, but since she was so young, will this go to capital murder?
We will go through the process and complete the investigation, at which time that the DA will, could possibly change the charge to capital. We do know we have, definite murder charge, but I would say potentially that, it is likely that the charge be raised to capital.
And the mother, is she still in Shannon?
That I do not know.
You said they were previously in a relationship. What was the time between when they were in?
It's been quite some time since they've been in a relationship. He has been in jail since November of last year and was released August 27th of this year.
Does he have any prior convictions?
I think he has some prior convictions. You can find those, but yeah.
Which DA is being handled by?
I believe it's Allison Palmer.
And, I mean, he was just released, about 6 days ago. How does that, is there a pattern? Like, could anybody kind of predict this is gonna happen, do you think?
I don't think anybody can predict any human being killing a 5-year-old.
Sir, what is the common reason to the domestic violence occurring here in San Angelo?
Yeah, Gregorio, there's a number of reasons why domestic violence occurs. It's either through, alcohol could be a problem, drug abuse, financial issues, a ton of different things. In this particular issue, he was recently released, and we don't have any indication to believe that there was any altercation before the incident that would have created him to want to commit this crime.
Was there a call between him being released and prior to this, the 27th till now?
Have we made a call to that residence?
Yes.
Not that I am aware of. It's a good question.
Do you know if this is possibly the youngest murder victim here, or in the county, or anything like that?
I will say that we've had other infants die in our community through either shaken baby syndrome or something along those lines. In my time here, this is probably the most horrific homicide involving a child. So it's not the only one we've had, but it's definitely, for me, it's the most horrific one we've had.
Can you, I know it's not a good thing, but I do want, can you talk about the injuries specifically with Naya?
Like I said earlier, I believe I said that she had a knife wound to her neck, and that's about the extent of the injuries that I want to discuss.
Will her body be sent off for an autopsy?
Yes.
When would y'all, where and when do y'all expect to receive results?
Lubbock, she'll be transported tomorrow morning to Lubbock, and hopefully we'll have results by Thursday or Friday.
And what's the status of the mother and the mother's mother in the hospital? Are they in good condition, critical?
No. They were in good condition, and I would venture on saying they're probably both been released.
Okay.
If I was guessing, just by the extent of the injuries that I saw.
And when the police initially arrived, did they notice there was a struggle, or did?
When the police initially arrived, they met the complainant, Jesusita, down the street, the corner. She was the one that called in. The call came in initially as a disturbance, unknown disturbance. So when we were responding, we weren't aware that there was actually a physical assault occurring in any form or fashion. And so while talking to her, the officer heard some screams down the street and then ran down the street and confronted them.
So the assault happened as the police were responding?
We believe so, yes.
So was, since the child was left alone, was this at all like a hostage